Oh, yeah.
This is a good class, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
We got some good folks in here.
All right.
All right, go ahead. Whoever got the first question, you're up.
Could you spell your name first and say it?
Yeah, so Shane Humpherys is my full name. Spelled Shane. Last name Humpherys. Next question. Come on, don't be shy. Yes, Spence.
Were you excited or skeptical about taking the new head coach job?
So I wasn't skeptical. No, I was just super excited more than anything. Coach, think the world of Coach Schwab, obviously, but no, I was just really excited. Yes.
How or why did you get into coaching?
So basketball's been a part of my life since my dad was a coach, so I grew up in the gym, just running around kind of like my kids do now. But so as far as coaching, the coaching side of it though, I played high school basketball, then college basketball. And then after that, after I graduated college, my dad was a coach, and so he asked me to go help him. So I guess that would be my first step into coaching was my dad asked me to, and I loved the game and wanted to be around it still. So that's when I got into coaching. Was helping my dad when was that? That was back in 2005. So that was like 16 years ago, Spence.
You old fart.
I know. You're gonna run for that comment later. So how and why? So no, I just the love of the game, and it's kind of always been a part of me, and I always wanted my kids to be around it. So that was a big part of that as well. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Jackson.
So last game, the offense was kind of slow. What did you guys do to kind of pick that up?
Yeah, no, the flow wasn't there, was it?
Yeah.
And we did some things yesterday. I think, our defense can spark our offense a little bit. And so defensively, it's got to be good because I think that helps our offense. But other than that, we're going to run so we have our continuous offenses and we have our offenses that are more set plays, and we're going to, and as these two know, we worked on a lot of our continuous offense, and so I think that'll allow it to flow better. I'm not going to get in the way and call so many sets, and we'll see kind of how that works, moving forward. So, are you going to be there Wednesday?
I will.
Okay, follow up with me and tell me if the flow is better. Yes?
What are some of your expectations for the season?
Expectations. So we set goals as a team, but my expectations, and my guys know this, is I want a good attitude and a lot of effort. That's really the only things that we expect, and then everything else will really fall into place if my guys work really, really hard and have good attitudes. That's my expectation. But as far as goals and different things, we want to be district champions. We want to get to state and have a chance. So. Yes.
Do you think you can live up to the predecessor varsity coaches?
Yeah. No, I mean, Coach Schwab, like I mentioned before, he was a phenomenal coach, great man. I think the world of him, and I have big shoes to fill. Let's put it that way. But I think I'm up for the task. Yeah. Yes.
What's this year's team strength that you've seen so far?
Team strength? That's a good question. So we're better when the game's fast. We even got good bigs. I mean, you're looking at two of our bigs right here in your own class, and Zeke's really fast and athletic, and so which just allows us to get up and down. Sometimes when you're big and slow, it doesn't allow you to do that. but we're big and fast, and so the faster the game, the better for us. And the more that we can get up and down and make the game quick. Now there's times that we got to slow the game down and kind of control the tempo, but we like to get up and down, make the game fast. Yes.
So last game, your players were not making their foul shots. Have you guys worked on that very much for this next level team?
So we shot 20 free throws yesterday in practice, and it's kind of a philosophy thing. With different coaches, treat this question differently. They'll mention it. They'll yell at their players for it. They'll say we got to get better at our free throws. I'm the kind of guy I don't even like to talk about, because we know that we miss. Like, if you miss a free throw, you know you missed it, right? Like, they don't need to hear it from me. They missed a free throw. They know that we need to make our free throws, and I'll kind of quietly work on it and not really talk about it a whole lot. You'll have some coaches, talk about it a lot. I just think the more you talk about it, the worse it gets. And so we'll shoot our free throws, but I won't ever hammer them or talk to them or get mad at them for missing free throws, just because it tends to get worse. That's my opinion. But we do a lot of shooting and a lot of free throw shooting in practice. Yeah. But funny, the game before we were 12 for 13, and then the next game we missed 11. I can't remember what it was. I think we were 14 for 25 or something like that. But that was a great observation. Was it frustrating you like it was frustrating me? Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
How do you manage playing time?
Playing time is not something that you automatically are entitled to. You earn that at practice. Yeah, so playing time is 100% earned, and that is done not only in practice but also games, but mainly practice. Yes, Vincent?
Biggest difference between JV and varsity, like coaching JV versus
Oh,
varsity?
okay, yeah. That's a good question. The game is the same, right? As far as the game is simple and easy, and you always hear me say that, but, it's definitely different. It's a faster game. It's much faster. And I believe, the physicality of the game is much more. And not only that, I think that, as far as like the chess match, it's much more. I think there's, the preparation needs to be better because other coaches are doing it more now. You know what I mean? Like the mental part of the game. At the JV level, I don't think a lot of coaches weren't watching film and weren't preparing like we like to do, but now at the varsity level, I think that there's a lot more of that as well. So we try to stay one step ahead of it, and that makes it more difficult to do. Good question. Yes.
What new strategies have you implemented in practice games?
What new strategies, as far as from like last year to this year? Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of the stuff and strategies and things we're doing are the same, but we've brought some new things on. We brought on the offense called, it's an offense, it's the Princeton offense that we've kind of implemented this year. And we've done some things with the pistol offense. But other than that, the fundamentals of basketball, like basic defense fundamentals, we've done some different things with our defense too. We're trying to not allow them to catch it where they want to catch it and make them feel uncomfortable that way. So there's some defensive things we've done that we brought to the table, and so yeah, no, good question. Should I only answer questions from people that haven't asked questions, or should we just let it roll right now?
Yeah, we're on a good roll, but
Good
who
roll,
hasn't
okay.
asked a question that would like to ask something?
So you ask a question?
Actually, I've not. I don't know how to word this, but like, how do you feel about having the 3 sophomores, so like, they're youth compared to the older seniors? How do you think that, like,
How to kind of make it match and
Yeah.
come together? Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, we have 3 sophomores playing up with 2 juniors and 6 seniors. So chemistry's a big deal, right? And so how do you kind of make the sophomores fit in with the seniors and the juniors that aren't, getting as much time? How do you keep those guys happy? And so it's a big part of what a coach needs to do, right? So I don't know, and you kind of feel that out, right? We've talked about it as coaches, Zeke. But as you feel that out, like a strength that we have going for us right now is chemistry, I feel like, and being happy for each other. And so, I don't feel like it's a need or a problem that I need to take like a next step, like, as far as like calling people in or making sure or having talks or doing things extra or above and beyond to build that chemistry, just because I feel like we have it right now. But something that, we need to keep an eye on, because, and there's not only like chemistry off the court, there's chemistry on the court. I feel like everybody's, I think that the sophomores bring good things. And for crying out loud, 2 of the sophomores are younger brothers to you and to Logan, right? So that kind of brings a natural camaraderie already. But something to keep an eye on for sure, and something I feel like that we haven't had. It's just kind of naturally been good, and hopefully you and Bear don't bring any.
Do the brothers get along, or
No.
so far?
So far so good. So far so good. Yeah, it's been really good so far. So good question, Zeke. Yes.
What are your thoughts about this next game for
Idle Falls, I was actually watching film on Idle Falls when I got the call from Zeke. Idle Falls is a team that, they got a couple bigs that we're going to have to take care of and handle, and then the guards really love to penetrate, so we're going to have to keep people in front of us. It's a big game because it's a conference game, and it's our first conference game, so and it's at home, so we got to take care of conference games at home, right? Kind of defend that home court. So game we're looking forward to. I think we're prepared and ready for it. We've had a great preseason. We've had 6, we're 4-2, so yeah, we've had 6 games to get us ready for this game, and I like where we're at, and I think we're ready. Yeah, I think we're ready. Daxton?
What are some of the biggest things you guys learned when you guys went down to Utah to play some of the bigger schools?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's a different world down there. Just to give you guys an idea, how many students does Madison have here? 13 something and some change?
Our 9 to 12 number, we're up 1,500 now.
1,500 now? Okay, so you're 1,500 students here at Madison. We're going and playing down in Utah. We're playing school like Bingham, who I believe this is the biggest school in Utah. And Westlake, who I believe is like top 5 school in Utah. I think you're like 3,300 students down there. So you're double and some, right? That would be like us and Rigby combining basically, and maybe even taking Sugar and throwing that in the mix. So they have a lot more kids to draw from, but that's why we do it. We go to Utah so we can be challenged, and if you want to be the best, you want to play the best, right? So that's why you go to Utah, so you can feel that, and there's a lot of size and physicality down there, and we felt like we got a lot out of the Utah trip. Even in our loss down there, I felt like it was a good loss. And then we were able to win our next 2 games, which were really good games, close games for us. And I guess when you get back, you just kind of can feel that breathing room. That you can kind of beat up on people. When you come back to Idaho a little bit. Does that make sense, Daxton?
Yeah.
So. Yes.
Madison basketball hasn't peaked yet. In order to peak, what do you think the team would need to do?
Yeah, good question. Just keep getting better, right? Like, we practice for a reason. We have lots of practice time. So if we learn every day from our games, if we can break it down and learn from it, and if we can continue to work really, really hard in practice, and this, like if you practice good, you play good, right? So we just got to continue to practice and bring it, and take advantage of the time that we have together in practice, and we'll be fine. I think we'll peak at the right time if we continue to do those things. Yes?
Who do you think your toughest up and coming opponent is?
That's a good question. I think, well, corner will be our toughest. We try not to look too far ahead, but we actually have corner Canton, Utah, not to overlook Idle Falls, obviously, right? But corner's going to be a really, really, really good match for us, and that's on Friday night. You guys all coming this week? Yeah, so corner's a good team. I think they're number 2 6A team in Utah right now. So that'll be a fun one. That'll be a really fun one, actually. And we like the tough ones. We like the hard ones. We don't want to go blow people out by 30. Like, that's okay once in a while, but we like the hard ones.
How about district-wise? Who do you see being tough
District,
this
yeah.
season?
I think Rigby's going to be good. You know, it's a tough matchup for them, honestly, because you know they're big and they kind of like to slow it down. We got speed and we like to speed it up. So I think that'll be an interesting game. And don't overlook Thunder. Thunder's going to be good. Highland's going to be decent. And then you got Idle Falls, who you can't overlook, and you must respect everybody, right? Just for good karma, I'm going to stand up here and say we gotta make sure we're ready for everybody.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
When we interview coaches, guys, coaches say things like that too, and it's important, right? That they really don't overlook
Yep.
everybody.
Yeah, you can never. I mean, Spence and Zeke know this, and some of the other guys. You always respect your opponents, right? You don't fear anybody, but you respect everybody, right? And that's why you play the game, right? That's why, I mean, Idle Falls has, I mean, if we thought we were gonna beat Idle Falls, we just wouldn't play it. If everybody thought it's why you play the game, because you gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. Yes?
What are the team's biggest weaknesses?
Weaknesses right now, I would say, we gotta get to the free throw line more. We gotta be a little tougher that way. Rebounding, I wouldn't say it's a weakness, but it's something we gotta do a little better job at, is just making sure we're handling the boards. I think our top rebounder is 5.5 a game. I'd like to be that more like 7.5 or 8.5, 9 rebounds a game, even 10 would be nice. Zeke?
Are you talking offensive rebounds or defensive?
Both, just combined, yeah, combined. So no rebounding. What other weakness? What else do we need to work on, guys? You know, just being solid, being patient on defense. We're great defenders. Sometimes we get a little impatient and we break down. Yes.
Like coaches like have different philosophies obviously. So like defensively, like what's your philosophy? Like do you like man defense more or zone or?
Good question. Man, yeah, we like to get up and now I will say this. Now some years it might change, right? Some years we might have guys that are just like, listen, we're gonna be better at zone this year, but this year we're definitely better. We're just too athletic, and I mean, we haven't ran hardly any zone this year thus far, right? Just a little bit. And it's good to be able to switch it up and kind of, you know, mix that feel up. If there's just you need to change the speed of the game or just kind of get somebody a little uncomfortable with what they've gotten comfortable with, you just kind of throw a zone out. But we're like 85-90% man.
If they're watching you play, and it's going good for you on offense, what's that going to look like for these kids?
So if who's watching, just anybody?
So yeah. So my class, they're sitting at your game, and,
Yeah.
and they're trying to write about what's happening here. What's it look like if it's going well for you?
Ideally.
Ideally, yeah.
Fast, up and down, and
Layups kind of stuff.
not necessarily, because we like to put pressure on the basket and make the extra pass. If people are passing up good shots for great shots, that's ideal. And if we're fast, the defense has a hard time getting balanced. If we're slow, they can get down and they can get set, right? And kind of, but if we're fast, sometimes it takes a second for them to get balanced and kind of find who they have and get in a good position. But if we're fast and driving and kicking and doing that a couple times, ideally we want it to be like that. And we want to play for each other and make each other better. And if that doesn't make sense, it's like we're trying to not worry about ourselves. We're trying to, I'm trying to make Spencer better. Spencer's trying to make Zeke better. If we're all doing that, we're all going to get our own anyway, and it's just higher percentage shots. Does that make sense? So, I don't know, unselfish basketball, I guess, if that kind of makes it make more sense, is when we're at our best. Spence, come on, man. Taking it easy on me. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than this. He was teasing me the other day. Yes?
What's the biggest asset to your team? Like, what's the best thing that you guys have?
Going for us? Like, attitude. Yeah, these guys are good kids. They got good attitudes. And, if you have a bad attitude and you come to practice, are you going to get better? No. So these guys have good attitudes. I think that's what we have. Just good kids here at Madison. Yes?
How important is it to you as a coach and your players to know the other team instead of you just being yourselves and going out?
Yeah, good question. So no, we put a lot of time into figuring out our opponent, right? And strengths and weaknesses and things that we can do to, we want to make other teams feel uncomfortable what they're good at. Or if, a guy's getting a bunch of touches per game and a bunch of shots, we want to try to eliminate that. So a big part of what we do is trying to figure out the chess match and what they're doing. And and sometimes it's, you can't overthink it too. You gotta be able to do that and still just go out and play basketball too and be you. But no, it's a big part of it, yes.
Is it hard for you to leave it on the court?
What do you mean?
I don't know, like maybe upset feelings about the game or do you
That's a good
bring
question.
you to practice?
I can't bring it home with me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's tough sometimes, and I try not to, but you gotta clear your head sometimes, and you gotta be a good loser too. And that's something we tell our kids. So I gotta be able to practice what I preach there, and not be able to bring it home. No, that's a good question. That's something that you don't want to ever get comfortable with losing, but you don't want to bring others down when you lose. And I always tell the kids, like, be good. I think when we lost to Hillcrest, like, be good to your family, be good to your people. You know what I mean? After you lose, we got to be able to learn how to be good losers, right? It's part of it. Yeah, it's part of it.
How much are you involved with the other the JV and the freshman team?
Yeah, pretty involved. Not so much the freshmen, just because they practice over at the junior high. But JV, I'm as many practices as those, and we try to make it one program. Terminology, and offenses and defenses are pretty lined up.